Hey everybody, welcome to the Hoosier Adventure YouTube channel. My name's Jim, and I want to thank each and every one of you for taking time out of your day to stop in and watch the video. Greatly appreciate that. Also want to thank everybody that took time out of their day to watch the birthday fish fry cookout. We had a blast. Took Rebecca and I a few days. We recovered, but we had a ton of fun, and want to also just shout out to everybody that was able to attend and enjoy the food and stuff. So thank you very much for that. So I kind of had some video coverage planned that we were going to be outside today, but Mother Nature had other ideas. You're seeing this on Saturday, July 19th, or I'm filming it July 19th. So you guys will be seeing this probably around the 21st. But anyway, we got some rain here. And if you know anything about where I live, for us to get rain is, and I know there's some of you folks that have been pounded by rain. And again, our thoughts and prayers go out to all those that's been affected by, you know, the hurricane and the flooding in Texas and stuff, and our deepest condolences to all the families and stuff. But in my area, for the last probably at least 4, maybe 5 years, we have just literally couldn't buy a drop of rain. And our pond is a reflection of that. Our pond is spring fed, and so when the water table drops drastically like it has, you know, the pond goes down. So our pond is about 10 feet down. And we're expecting this coming week heat index temperatures north of 105. There's one day they're saying that we could see a heat index of over like 112. So some pretty excruciating weather going on right now across the country. But we're very thankful for the rain that we got a little bit of today. We probably got, 3 or 4 tenths of rain. And for us, that's really good right now. So, we'll take all we can get and kind of go from there. But kind of spoiled my idea as to what I wanted to do today, but, I do have a backup plan. Obviously, you can see my 1/32 ounce round ball pink head jig head sitting here in the vise. And so I'm going to share a jig that I have not tied on camera yet, and it's my form of the Wooly Bugger. I enjoy fishing this jig. It's a very popular jig in the spring and the fall for me. Obviously, I've showed some of the jigs that I like to fish in the heat of the summer when, the fishing, the crappie are stressed a little bit more and a lot more finicky. And I dial my jig size back to roughly, 1/64th, 1/80th of an ounce and fish a smaller profile to entice a strike with those finicky crappie. So, but no matter what part of the country you're in, I think that this is a pretty solid jig and something that all of you can benefit from. If you are tying your jig, you're more welcome to follow along or write it down and tie this jig. So it tells a terrific story in the water, which is, what we do as fishermen when we're fishing, hand-tied jigs or our plastic jigs, swim jigs. We're telling a story. So let's kind of get into this, and we'll kind of talk as we go along. Obviously, I like to start with a little bit of hard as nails glue on my hook shank. Again, this is a 1/32 ounce round ball jig head. And I'm going to be using a 214 denier thread for this particular jig, and I'm going to use white. And I'm just going to wrap this back right to the hook point, and this is a sickle hook. A number 6 sickle hook. And then I'm going to give this a couple whip finishes, get this locked in there. I like this color combination. Again, it works really well for both the spring and fall months, when the crappie are a little bit more aggressive, not quite as finicky. So this is a blue hackle tail. Now, you know, I like to stress that when you're picking out your hackle tail, you really want something that's kind of got a full shape to it. It's going to help this jig as it swims give a solid presentation. Trim that off, and now we're just going to wrap this back. To our hook point and bring this back forward. Now I like to leave just a little shank right here, and the reason I do that is because when I wrap back up forward here, I'm going to put a couple wraps in there, and then I'm going to whip finish it, and that's going to really help secure that feather in there. These jigs here tend to take a pretty good whacking. You know, the more aggressive the fish are, the more your jigs take a shellacking. So the next step is we're going to be using 2 colors. This is skirting, so you can tell that it's quite small. But this is what you would find on a lot of your buzz baits and things like that if you're a bass fisherman, okay? First piece that I'm going to put on is this green color. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want to bring out this blue. Certain colors help other colors be dominant. And green is one that really helps blue do that. As you can see, my loop is well above the head of the jig. Oops, almost wasn't. And I want this tail to split this. And in the process of showing you this, I let my fat fingers. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this back, this loop back, and now I'm just going to wrap it back forward. And then into that soft area there of the shank. And then we're just going to trim that. So as you can see, this green really helps that blue give it some contrast. The next color is the white. Now everybody that knows me knows that I love a ton of action in my jigs. So what you want to do is you want to split this tail off to both sides without my fat fingers getting in the way. Excuse me. There we go. And I just want it to separate. maybe. There we go. Make sure you get these tails exactly where you want them. And then what I like to do is kind of pull them up the shank just a little bit. And then we're just going to work them all the way around. We'll trim this one completely off. Okay. Even those two tails up a little bit. Bring this all the way back forward. And we're just going to put a whip finish or two in here to get all that stuff secured. Got that all nice and locked in now. And then what we're going to do is we're going to finish it up with a Wooly Bugger Chanel. I like to strip just a little end of that off so I can get it tied in. And then you want to kind of hold it up and you want to get that all the way back right to that tail. And then just bring this back forward. And now we just want to wrap him in there. Wrap that in there nice and snug to each other. Couple of nice tie-ins here. Then we're going to take and trim that Chanel. Then what we want to do is wrap a couple times so that where we trim that Chanel. And then we're just going to give this a quick 6 whip finish. And now when she's in the water, this is what they're seeing. You want those tails to be pretty even with each other. But that's got a lot of swimming motion, a lot of jig motion, and the blue tail really helps set it off. So there you go, guys. One bad Woolly Bugger. So pretty cool. And as usual, my camera shut off just there as I got done. So this is my version of the Woolly Bugger, and obviously when it's fishing, it fishes just like this. The tail action here, the green helps make this blue hackle tail really stand out. I mean, you can see it there in the light and stuff. The green just helps reflect that blue just a little bit. Obviously, the strike is going to come from right in here. And yeah, it should be a solid producing jig. So guys, here's the Woolly Bugger that we just tied. And what I want to try to show you, obviously it would help if the pond was just a little bit, excuse my hand in front of the camera. But basically, I'm hoping that you can see this jig from this advantage. But you can see these legs. how they're swimming through the water. And to be honest with you, I test every jig that I tie. I come out here, I sit with it, I play with it. You know, I want to learn, you know, if I'm vertical jigging it, you know, I want to give, you know, how much line movement it takes, you know, to produce a look that the fish, the crappie or bluegill, are looking for. You know, so that, you know, whether I'm vertical jigging it right there, or you know, I'm casting it and bringing it in. I'm sorry for the wind noise here. But like anything else, you know, I think you just have to figure out what presentation is going to work best. And you have to remember, every jig or every artificial bait, well, any bait, has to tell a story. You know, whether that's how it swims, or the flash that it makes, or top water, you know, how it works on top of the water. It tells a story. You know, and that's one thing I can tell you about a handful of guys that I fish with. You know, Carl is probably one of the best vertical jig fishermen I've seen, and it's his presentation. He's telling a very confident story with his presentation, with that jig. You know, whoa, there was a hit. So that was a pretty good presentation right there. Wasn't expecting that. But you know, what this looks like underwater, you know, and then how the fish are going to react to it. And I tie a lot of jigs that are definitely outside of the realm, you know, I mean, but it's because I'm out here looking at how it works through the water and stuff. Hopefully that makes sense. But there's that Wooly Bugger, and as you can see, it's got an awesome presentation, vertical jigging, and then it's got a great presentation as it swims through the water. And it's a jig that has a lot of great potential. But it's like anything else that, you know, you do, you just got to practice at it. and figure out if, you know, you need to tweak your presentation. You know, one thing a lot of guys don't understand is when you're vertical jigging, if you're trying to use your rod tip, you know, to do it, and it may be too aggressive, but if you use your line, and again, I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to try to bring the jig up as high as I can here. But with your line, you can make a lot slower presentation than you can by using your rod tip. And it allows that jig to stay in that strike zone much longer. So hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I wanted to give you an opportunity to see this jig actually in the water. It's got a lot of great color to it, and it's got a good presentation and a good solid story. Let me know if you got any comments or questions or anything. You're more welcome to leave them in the comments section, or you can email me at whozer.adv@gmail.com. And yeah, should be a good producing jig. I fish a lot of jigs with tails just because I like the tail action. I think it induces bites that other jigs probably would not get a strike on. So this is a 1/32 ounce jig head. This can be tied. I probably wouldn't go any smaller than a 1/80th scale. Obviously at 1/80th, you're probably just using a single tail. Even 1/64th, it may be just a single tail. But and the only reason I use the green in here isn't for action. It's just to help this tail really pop underwater. Especially if, you know, the clarity is, the water's a little bit dirty or whatever. It's just going to help that blue stand out a little bit. So anyway, we greatly appreciate all of you taking the time out of your day to watch our videos. And if you enjoy the video, you know, please do me a favor, give me a thumbs up. As most people know, YouTube just recently completely changed their algorithm. So the thumbs up does help our channel continue to grow, and we can put out more videos and stuff. And if you're inclined and you want to be a part of our inner circle and part of our family and friend circle, hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you know when we're uploading videos. It's free, guys. All it is a click of a button. And it also helps the channel out tremendously. And we greatly appreciate it. So we have a Facebook group page that you can find on Facebook if you're a part of Facebook. It's Whozer Adventure YouTube channel. I interact on it. Rebecca interacts on it. You know, that's a platform for you to share your fishing pictures, your camping pictures, your friends and family pictures, outdoor cooking pictures. It gives you an avenue to share all that with all of us, and that's something that we personally truly enjoy. So take advantage of that if you'd like. And I think that if you get an opportunity to fish one of these style jigs here, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at its production. It tells a terrific story in the water. It's not a hard jig to fish. It can be vertically jigged, it can be swam, and it produces. So hopefully you'll enjoy it, and I think that's about it on this particular video. Again, I greatly appreciate your time out of your day stopping in and watching the video. So until next time, guys, next video, thank you kindly for sharing your time with me today. And we'll see you on the next video. And please remember, always be kind. Good night, everybody.